To the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddard. My passion and my mission is to help you think bigger so that you can have a life of more possibilities and more impact. And today I have with me somebody who is going to personify and redefine for you what it means to think bigger. His name's Joseph McCabe. He's out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He is the owner of RE/MAX Experts Philadelphia. He also owns Home First Mortgage, owns a title company, an insurance company. In addition to that, in the past 5 years, he's picked up 112 units as an investor, and is raising money to pick up about 400 more. Needless to say, the past 5 years have been a pretty fruitful 5 years for Joseph McCabe, and I don't see any signs of him slowing down. So let me first begin by saying thank you, Joseph, for being on the Think Bigger Real Estate Show today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to see what I can do to help everybody out.
I love it, man. So again, 26, didn't finish college. Did I understand you correctly?
No, I finished. I just did it in a pretty accelerated way.
Okay. Seems like your style. That kind of seems like your style.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they actually, they were like, yeah, you need to talk to a counselor if you're going to take 24 credits. Yeah, well, that's part of taking action. Everyone is so, they think everybody's like a snowflake, kind of weak, and they can't handle it. We better talk to them. So no, I did 2 years at Penn State. Then I enlisted in the Army, went to school, became an MP, military police with the Army, got out, started training people at training people at LA Fitness, working at GNC while getting my real estate license, while going to Cabrini. So for 2 semesters, I needed like 50 or 60 credits. So I took 24 credits each semester and graduated a year early. And while I was training people, I think in that first semester, maybe over the summer when I got out of the Army, this guy was like driving it. He had a nice Mercedes. I found out later, I didn't know anything. So it wasn't the nicest Mercedes. So he could have done better. But I used to make fun of it. And he told me he was in real estate. And so I got my license and I started working at Long and Foster here in Philadelphia to start.
And that's where it all began.
That's where it all began. Yeah. So then, because this is how I do it. My first 2 weeks, I had 2 deals right off the bat, and nobody there would help me. I was just kind of brought in and left to myself. So thank God for Google. I just went out there and started Googling what to do. Ended up going to an independent, and then eventually Keller Williams. Opened up my title company at Keller Williams, and then realized I didn't like the culture. I wanted to do something, start my own culture, start my own company. And that's when I decided to buy a RE/MAX franchise. Although, when I did that, I still wasn't sold on I'm going to be in real estate for the rest of my life. So I was still in process to be a Philadelphia cop.
So you're buying a franchise, and you're still deciding as to whether or not it's.
I think my mind was made up, but I couldn't tell myself that. I think my mind was made up, but yeah, no, it was a good experience, and my initial partner in RE/MAX was a Philadelphia cop. My whole family's Philadelphia police officers. My brother's a cop, and I was a cop in the Army. So it was something that for some reason I wouldn't let go of right away. But, thankfully now I did, because the income potential was much better.
Yeah, to say the least. It's funny. Recently I was listening to Tony Robbins talk about how we live in North America where there's endless amounts of opportunity, yet most people don't make the kind of money that they want. They aren't the shape that they want to be in. They don't have the relationships that they want to have. And he said the biggest reason for that is because they don't take enough action. And I want to get into that with you, because I feel like that's the golden nugget. I'm sure there's a ton of golden nuggets that we could extract from you today. But I feel like you pouring into this audience what it means to take a step when you don't know what the outcome is going to look like, or even if that's even the right step. Talk to us through when you are presented an opportunity to buy, purchase a title company or insurance company or a real estate company, and you don't know how it's going to turn out. You do it anyway and decide later. Talk to us through kind of what's in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people spend all day spreadsheeting and paralysis analysis on every single real estate deal, every single opportunity that comes up to them. How are they going to get started being a realtor? How are they going to get into the mortgage industry if you're going to be a loan officer? And it's like, dude, it's pretty freaking simple. You need to get out there, talk to people, and get applications in. Or in the real estate business, you need to get out there, talk to people, and get them to go look at houses. It's not even that it's complex. you're overthinking it. And maybe really in your head, you're like, I don't know if I want to actually take that type of action. And I wish there was a magic bullet, and I guess a magic bullet. But when I first got into real estate, I at some point found Grant Cardone. So, I don't agree with everything he says, but a lot of what he says is true. It's like, no one really cares where you came from, what happened to you, why you're holding yourself back. But you need to get out there and take action, because no one's going to do anything else for you. So whenever I heard him say, commit first, do the rest, figure the rest out later, that's when I started just going out there, finding opportunities would find me, to be honest. Whether it was jumping on a Toby Salgado show or Pat Hyben's show, now your show, if you put yourself out there enough, you take enough action, and you can always take more action. You can create 24-hour action. You can have a CRM talking to people at 3 a.m. and while you're asleep. And I would encourage that. But the more action you can take, the more money you're going to make. It's a simple formula for success. That's it.
So your take is, rather than learn so that I can apply, you say do so that I will learn.
Yeah, I spent 4 years learning in college, and I used none of that. So I didn't learn that way. I learned a lot in the Army, but the Army is a lot of, trial and error, get out there and figure it out. And it's a lot more aggressive in the Army, than it is in college.
So obviously the reality of going out and getting an application for a loan or getting a listing is probably far less scary, right?
Sure.
Than busting through a door as a police officer, right?
Yeah.
Or being on the front lines in the Army. I would imagine some of that military training, some of that cop training, training you to be like, guys, we should not be fearful of this. This crap's not real. This is not anything to be afraid of, right? These people aren't going to shoot us. They're going to kill us.
In your head, if you think about it too long, you'll create all types of reasons why you can't do it. I mean, you'll come up with a million different things, you can play the what if game all freaking day, right? Yeah. And then it's like, well, all the country songs, what if you don't? What if you don't? What if you don't do it? And, best example is like I was going to get on Pat Hyben when I got on Pat Hyben's show, and I talked about the mortgage company, and my genius self decided to say that no one calls me from the show. Well, now we're opening, from Pat Hyben's call alone, 13 branch offices of the mortgage company nationwide with realtors who do, our office we're still fairly new at 5 years old. So we do we'll do about 500 to 600 transactions this year as a brokerage, not including the mortgage company. The real estate brokers we're doing joint ventures with do 2,000-3,000 deals a year. And I'm a baby to this industry. These people have been in the industry 20, 30 years. Now they're going to be my partners on a mortgage company. So people would also get caught up in, I don't have enough experience. Really? Who the hell told you that? Because did you actually go out and try? The chances are probably not.
And what's showing up for me, Joseph, is that the world in which we live, not just our industry, is void of leadership, right? That it's simply looking for confidence, for people who can confidently say, look, we're going to do this. We're going to figure it out. There's plenty of resources. The only thing that's lacking is us being resourceful enough to figure it out. And we're going to go do it. And there's a whole herd of people that will say, I'm following that guy. I'm following that guy because that guy's got the confidence and the resourcefulness to figure it out.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. I just think, no matter what it is you're doing, or no matter what it is you want to do, I mean, there's just so many people in every industry, every walk of life, every business, hourly jobs. They want to get promoted to manager, but then they still, they're on their iPhone the whole time working at the retail store they're at, instead of busting their ass. You're making $10 an hour now, but you could be making 30 or whatever a store manager makes. But the point is, people just get so caught up in what are all these possibilities that could go wrong, and then they don't take the action to actually get the positive result.
Yeah.
That's another issue too.
It actually reminds me, when I was in college, I was a construction management student, and a lot of my counterparts were nervous about having a job during school, for fear that they wouldn't have enough time to do well in their studies. And if they had a job, it was a very simple kind of I'm going to go clean up a job site type job. And I had kind of a similar strategy as you, although yours is on absolute steroids. But it was no, building a home is not rocket science, right? It's not brain surgery.
Right.
I can figure this out. And so I would literally cram not even in school. It was like on the internet, right? Like what happens here? And I quickly was promoted to oversee a division of a company and left and started my own company. And I remember like coming back in the classroom and being like, man, how did you get that job? And it's like, guys, like you don't have to know everything to get started. You do have to get started if you're ever going to know everything, right? Or if you're ever going to know anything.
Yeah.
But it's fun to hear you say that because you're inspiring me to think bigger, right? It's to take a look at like, what am I holding back on? Because I feel like I don't know enough about yet. When you're right, we have the frigging internet at our fingertips, people. There is endless amounts of content teaching you how to do anything. If you'll simply apply yourself and turn off Netflix, turn off like Candy Crush, and go learn something, in 5 years, you can change your stars entirely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. And you know, I didn't know anything about anything in mortgage except for, and same thing you probably know, is when the deal goes south, threaten to never send a loan officer a deal again. Now I know the ins and outs of underwriting and guidelines and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, a lot of things that I never wanted to know about the mortgage business that I know now. And, you know, we started the mortgage company 3 years ago, and in 3 years, we're now going national. We're going to go from a mortgage company that makes a couple $100,000 a year to millions every year in one freaking podcast. One podcast that I knew this guy had a ton of followers, and I was like, you know, shit, these people are rock stars compared to me because I listened to them.
Yeah.
And now they're working with me. So there's so much fear. People just get so caught up in the wrong things.
What talk to us through kind of this fear process when fear comes at you, right? I'm sure prior. Let me back up really quick. I want to make a point. Is that getting into the mortgage business for you? You realize you didn't know everything, right? And that there was some liability. Like you could find yourself in jail if things went really sour, right?
Right.
But you did what? You surrounded yourself with people that understood that side of the business, and you marched forward. I'm assuming. Did I miss something?
No, Google, man. If it wasn't for Google, I mean, and at the end of the day, you know, even with realtors, like, oh, what can I do for advertising? Well, did you call the real estate commission? Because you've been talking about this advertising idea for like 13 years. Why don't you call the real estate commission and find out if it's legal? You know, and it's just such common sense. Or Google it. Hey, is this legal? The pop right the hell up. And there's a whole website in the mortgage world called NMLS, Nationwide Licensing something. You go on there, it tells you the exact guidelines, exactly what you need to do. I mean, all the guidelines are clearly spelled out. And in the broker world, the mortgage broker world, you know, it used to be a dangerous world. It's not anymore. We're so regulated, so capped. There's nothing, can't hurt the consumer. You could try, but you can't because there's so many wholesalers that kind of handle everything. And basically with the mortgage world is becoming, your large banks are just becoming servicers, and then you're going to have brokers at the bottom. And the brokers are going to make their percentage, their 2.75%, similar to real estate, and run credit, take the application, and the wholesaler lenders are going to do the rest of the work. So it's a really safe place, a good place for a consumer to be and a loan officer.
So back to this concept of when fear comes at you.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, what's the internal dialogue? What are the words that go through your head?
Yeah.
When all of a sudden you've got this great idea, but fear comes in, because I know you're not immune to it. You just move past it. So walk us through how you move past it.
Yeah, you got to find the dark side. You got to find the dark side, and you know, Grant always says fear means you're heading in the right direction. And then you know, you listen to other guys like in the military. We'll turn it into a joke. My new favorite line is you know, Jocko Willink.
Yeah,
that is right. But he always says, you know, he used to say to his guys, "Stand by to get some," you know, and it's a joke. Like, you know, we're totally screwed. Like, but we're making a joke out of it right now. Yeah. And I think if you take it that way and you take everything a little more lightly, and you know, there's really nothing you can't fix or you can't reverse. You know, unless you're going to take a life or do something criminal, there's nothing you can't do that you can't fix, and you're not going to get in trouble for it. I mean, like, you turn around and say, "Oh, I didn't know. Sorry, I'll correct that and move. You know, fix it moving forward." Yeah. You know, as long as you didn't do it to 300 consumers. But if you make one mistake, it's usually something that can be corrected, or talk your way out of. We're all salespeople, so I just see, like, you know, a lot of the times people get so caught up in what can go wrong. What if this happens? What if I get sued? Okay, what if you get sued? You probably need to get sued to be successful. You know, I've been sued. You have to be sued to be successful. It's just how it is. You get sued twice, and you're like, Thank God I listened to, Grant would say, if you don't get sued, you're not taking enough action. It's freaking true. It's 100% true, because you got to be pissing people off. And I could say right now that at 26, there's some significant brokers in our area that have 300-400 agents, like the number one Keller Williams in the city. The owners there, they know my name.
Of course they do.
Yeah, because I'm in front of their face taking their agents. But they'll also go have coffee with me and find out why I'm such a lunatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it probably comes a lot down to hunger. I mean, what I hear coming from you that's not being spoken, but is being felt, is that you're just friggin' hungry to succeed. Like, you want it worse than other people want it. And I sense that, because like what I'm realizing is, and really a kind of a clarity call to the audience, that if you don't have the life that you want, or if you're not on a fast path to get it, the only person you can look at is yourself, because we live in America, right? This is the most fertile soil to build a great career and build a great life that has ever been on the face of this planet, ever.
Yeah.
And frankly, if you're not, like, again, on a fast track to get what you want, or don't already have it, then it's internally that you don't want it bad enough, correct?
Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, the one thing is you're going to die. That's about all you know. So you're going to die at some point. And people like, I think Gary Vee says a lot of good stuff, but he also says some shit that he needs to not say. And I don't think that, at 18 years old to 25 years old while you're in college, I don't believe that that's the time that you should be out there partying and taking dumb risk like that and traveling the world. I think you should be focused on building me personally, I'd rather go to Italy when I have hundreds of thousands of dollars and I really don't give a shit, versus now where it's like, oh man, I've got a couple thousand, we go to Italy, let me budget for this, let me plan. Why would I want to do that?
Backpack, stay in a hostel.
Yeah, you want to put in all the work. Right. I can put in so much work right now because of my age. I don't need sleep, and I can still go to the gym for 2 hours a day and work while I'm there. I'm the youngest person in my office. So I'm attracting the people that did do all that bullshit when they were young, and now they regret it because they don't have their 401ks running out. So now they're selling real estate again, whatever the issue is. But the point is, like, oh man, I hope they don't watch that. But the point is that, like, those people who kind of mess around while they're younger, I don't think that's the right message. I mean, if that's really what success is for you, that's fine. But I think that there's a lot more potential when you're under 40. This is the time you have the energy. You can get out there and kill it. You should take advantage of that. I
agree. I think sometimes people, they say, no, I'm going to go play while I'm young. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, but like, I have as much fun working as I do on vacation. Like, to go in, like, to step in and make an impact in someone's life and to build business. Like, I get on vacation and I like 4 days in and I'm like, all right, like,
my work,
feet in the sand is fun for a few minutes. But like, I got people to help. I got things to do. I got businesses to build,
Right. Yeah. My work is my vacation. I say that I'm usually stressed when I'm on work because people need me. We're still small. I'm the broker and I'm the CEO of Homefront Mortgage. So I'm running both divisions. I'm running both sides. There's no time for that.
Yeah. This has been great stuff, man. I really appreciate you coming in and changing some paradigms of what it means to think bigger. I'm going to ask kind of our signature question here as we wrap up. Which is, what do you do? And I think this whole episode has been about this, which is funny.
Yeah.
But what do you do to position yourself to always be expanding your possibilities, to be thinking bigger, right? Like what's something that you've grown accustomed to doing to where it's like, hey, it's because of that I'm a big thinker. It's because of this thing that I do or these things that I do. Anything come to mind?
Yeah. Stop listening to people that aren't where you want to be. I mean, it's amazing how many people below me financially that will give me advice. My mom still tells me it's really hard to run a real estate brokerage, but she's been a teacher her whole life. So it's interesting. And if, talk to the people that are where you want to be. I'll this week, last week, the week before that, now that we're opening nationally mortgage company, what am I doing? I'm calling every mortgage broker and every correspondent lending CEO that will pick up my phone and say, what am I missing? And guess what? They'll tell you. They'll tell you exactly what you're missing, and they'll help you. People want to help you, and people underestimate human nature. One other thing I'll just say to everybody is, like, every realtor in the world will tell you what, ask your client for referrals. Okay. Well, the studies show that like 80% of realtors never ask for referrals. What's funny is they'll all give that advice to every other realtor. They'll never ask for the referrals. 90% of your clients would give them to you. So never underestimate the value of just the human being and what they'll do and how much they want to help you, and reciprocate that.
Oh, it's great stuff, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree more that there's, again, people want it bad enough. They can be resourceful. You don't need all the resources. You just need to be resourceful.
Right.
Once you've got that hunger, once you realize that, hey, somebody's doing it, Joseph McCabe, right, is doing it. I'm hopeful that a lot of my audience are going to light up today because of what you shared, and they're going to realize, like, man, I'm living far below my privileges. I'm living far below my means, far below my own possibilities. And if this big thinker can do it, I'm going to be a big thinker too. I can do it as well. So this has been super fun, man. I really appreciate the wisdom that you've shared. Been fantastic. I'm definitely going to invite you to be back on the show because you're firing me up, man. Yeah,
absolutely. I appreciate it. If for any of your listeners, like I said on Pat Ivan Show, if there's anything I can do, if you have any questions, if you have a massive real estate team or your own real estate brokerage and you think that you might want to open up a mortgage company, we can talk. So I'll help you with your income right there.
Go ask the question, seek the help, and just be amazed at what, like you said, what people will do.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, man. Thanks again for being on the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into this episode of the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. This has been a fantastic one. I want to thank you again, Joseph, and we'll talk again soon, my friend.